Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn Tech Wise. I'm John here to make your tech life easier, smarter, and a whole lot more fun. Quick question, guys. Have you ever struggled with installing an operating system or wondering where to grab genuine Windows version or how to activate your Windows? In this video, we will tackle this issue and much more. It's a lengthy video, so I have separated it into 3 parts. Here's what we will cover in each parts. Whether you're trying to save money or just want to learn how to install Windows yourself, part 1 is where you start. Step by step OS installation, where to download genuine versions, activating Windows for free. Part 2 is for beginners, covering the basics of Windows navigation and what to do after installing Windows or getting a new system. In part 3, we will troubleshoot common issues we might face in our Windows. These are the topics and much more covered in this video, so stick around till the end. I won't keep you waiting any longer, so let's get started. Before we start, let me answer the question which is running in your mind. So why stick with this video? Well, there are tons of short videos out there, but they only scratch the surface. I'm covering everything you need to know step by step, no shortcuts. From picking the right Windows version to downloading the ISO and even fixing common issues. I've got you covered. You won't find this level of details anywhere else, so trust me, you don't need to watch another video. Let's quickly run through what you need to know before downloading a Windows ISO file. This is very important, so stay with me. First, you got to decide between 32-bit and 64-bit. If your computer is newer and has more than 4 GB of RAM, you go for 64-bit. It's faster, more efficient, and takes full advantage of your hardware. If your computer is older or has less than 4 GB of RAM, stick with 32-bit. Now, let's talk about UEFI versus legacy BIOS. UEFI is the modern option. It's faster, supports secure boot, and generally the best choice. If you're dealing with an older system, you might need legacy BIOS. Don't worry though, most computers these days are UEFI. So check your specs to be sure. Before you hit the download button, just double check your system specs. Are you using 64-bit? Does your PC support UEFI? Get those right and you're good to go. Alright, let's quickly talk about the major types of operating system you should know. Windows is what most of us use. It's perfect for work, gaming, and just day-to-day tasks. Then there's Mac OS, which you will find on Apple devices. It's slick, super user-friendly, and costly. If you like customizing things, you would love Linux. It's free, flexible, and great for tech pros. And don't forget Android and iOS, which runs on your mobile device. Plus, Unix, used mainly for servers. Bottom line, your OS is what makes your computer or device come to life, and that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple, right? Just make sure you choose the right version for your system. So before I bore you to death, let's get started with Windows OS installation. First, these are the things you need to check before flashing a USB. Check your system requirement, hardware compatibility, disk space, Windows version and edition if it is compatible with your system hardware. Check boot mode settings. Check power supply so it won't shut down in the middle of the installation. Even if it does, don't worry, you can start the installation again. Post installing your Windows, the requirements are internet connection for your Microsoft login and to activate Windows. Product key for your Windows activation if you have purchased already. If you don't, I got your back. Now turn on your system. Let's take a look at the hardware requirement to make sure we download the software that's the perfect fit for our system. If you're able to turn on your PC or laptop, follow these steps. If your device not booting on, skip to the next step. Now, click the search icon. Type ms info 32. Press enter. Then click system summary. Then look for BIOS mode. Don't just follow these steps, it's just an example for you to understand. In here, we will check CPU, RAM and boot mode. Now we are good to start the download. For those who are unable to boot their system, grab a pen and paper. Let's go through how you can check and modify your settings in BIOS. While we are in BIOS, we will also adjust a few settings in advance to make it easier for us to install the operating system later. To get started, restart your PC or turn on your system. Then keep on pressing the designated BIOS key until you see BIOS menu. If you are unsure which key to press for your specific PC or laptop, you can quickly find this information online by searching for your device model. I will also provide a list of common BIOS keys for various models in the description, so you can try those if you are unsure. Please note that the BIOS theme and the settings may differ depending on the model and the brand of your system. In the main BIOS menu, you will be able to see your system information. Based on your system specifications, you can download the appropriate operating system version. Now, let's change some of the settings in boot option. You need to select USB storage as the primary boot device, so your system can detect the bootable USB drive. On my system, I can adjust the boot order, so I will select both legacy and UEFI option. Next, let's disable secure boot. On my device, I have an option called legacy enable and secure boot disable. I will select this, but your device may have different options. The key is to disable secure boot as that's necessary for the installation. Once all the settings are configured, be sure to save the changes and exit the BIOS. Now, arrange for 8GB or 16GB pen drive to make it into a bootable USB. For example, to create a bootable USB from a 7GB ISO file, you will need a USB with at least 4GB of free space. If you are finished with all these steps, let's get into downloading. If you are wondering where to download trusted ISO file, there are two ways. First one, as you guessed it right, it is directly from Microsoft website. Second one is Maskrave. This website is trusted by all the tech pros. If it makes you worry less, let's just say it has been hosted on GitHub for years and Microsoft owns GitHub. I will provide the link in the description. If you are not trusting the link, you can type it by yourself. Microsoft Windows download, or if you are going by the second link, Maskrave. Click on the first link and follow the step. Before we start, you need to keep in mind that you need a genuine Microsoft Windows key to activate. And for those who like free stuff without paying anything, just like me, no worries. Watch the full video, I will guide you how to activate Windows. Alright, let's go ahead and download all the necessary files. I will walk you through where to get each one. So if you have already downloaded something, feel free to skip to the next step. Open any of your favorite browser and search for Microsoft Windows Download. Select the first link. In the home page, you need to select which Windows you are going to download. Scroll down, you will see Windows Installation Media. Go through the document for minimum system requirement. Select download. Select language. Now save the file where you want to access it later. Now you are good to go. Open any of your favorite browser and search for Maskrave. Select the first link. In the home page, in the top, select Download Windows or Office. Select your preferred Windows version. Go through document for minimum system requirement. Scroll down. You need to download your preferred language ISO file. Click the link. Now save the file where you want to access it later. Now you are good to go. Open any of your favorite browser and search for Maskrave. Select the first link. In the home page, you need to select Intro. Scroll down, select any of your preferred download method. You need to download any one. I will just show you how to download in both websites. Download the zip file. Now save the file where we will access it later. Open any of your favorite browser and search for Refuse. Select the first link, scroll down until you see download. Click the link and download which is preferred for your system. Now save the file where we will access it later. Alright, now go ahead and plug in the pen drive we kept for booting Windows. Next, open the folder where we downloaded Refuse. Double click on it and run the app. It will ask for admin permissions, just allow it. You will see a bunch of options, but don't get panicked. The device option will automatically detect your pen drive. If you have any data on it, now's the time to back it up because it will get wiped, you lose everything on it. Now for boot selection. Choose the ISO file we downloaded earlier. Here's the thing. If you are using UEFI, just leave everything as it is, but if you are using legacy BIOS, make sure to select MBR for partition scheme and FAT32 for file system. Once that's set, hit start. You will see a pop-up asking about Windows user experience. If you want to customize it, go ahead, but I usually just click OK. If you get a warning about secure boot, you'll need to disable it in BIOS. Don't worry, I will show you how to do that during the installation. Click OK and you will get another warning that your pen drive will be formatted. If there is anything important on it, back it up now. I don't have anything on mine, so I will just hit OK. Now just sit tight while the ASUS does its things and create the bootable pen drive. It will take a little time, mine took around 20 minutes, but it might go faster or slower depending on your system and the pen drive you are using. And now we are all set. Let's get into installation. Now let's get started with Windows installation. First, plug in the pen drive that we have already booted into the system. Now restart or turn on your PC and keep on pressing the designated boot key until you see boot menu. As mentioned earlier, I have included list of common boot keys for various models in the description, so be sure to check that out. Next, we need to disable secure boot, and I have already explained how to do this in the system check section of the BIOS. If you need a refresher on how to disable secure boot, feel free to rewind the video. Once you are in the boot menu, select the USB drive that you have booted from. For me, it's labeled UEFI SanDisk, so I will select that. Now, just wait for the Windows Setup page to load. On the Windows Setup page, choose the language you want to install and click Next. Click Install, accept the license terms and click Next. Select Custom Install Windows. When you reach where do you want to install Windows page, you will see SSD or hard drive listed. You can create partition here or delete everything on the drive to install Windows fresh. Just a reminder, you need to delete all the previous files to install Windows. For example, I have Linux on separate partition, so I will select unallocated space for installing Windows and click Next. Now, wait for the Windows to install. This could take anywhere up to 5 to 8 minutes, but the time may vary depending on your system hardware. After the installation is complete, your system will restart. Once the system restarts, you will see a setup screen. Select your region. Since I am from India, I will choose India. Next, choose the keyboard layout you will be using. I am using an Indian keyboard, so I will select English India. We can also add a second keyboard layout if needed, but I will skip that step. On the network page, if you have a genuine Microsoft key, you can connect to the internet and log into your Microsoft account. Since I don't have one, I will choose I don't have internet and continue with limited setup. Now, add a username. I will choose LTW and click Next. For the password, I am not adding one, but if you would like, you can set up a password here. Click Next, then accept the terms. On the next page, select Not Now. Finally, we will wait for the Windows home page to load. This may take a few moments, and there you have it. We are done with the Windows installation process. Now let's start with Windows activation. Alright, so first make sure your device is connected to Wi-Fi. You don't want to be offline during this process. Once you are connected, we need to temporarily disable Windows security. To do that, just open up the Windows search bar and type in Windows Security. Click on it and then head over to Virus and Threat Protection. Scroll down a bit and you will see Manage Settings. Click that and turn off Real-Time Protection. When it asks for confirmation, hit Yes, then just minimize that window. Next, connect the pen drive where we have copied the Microsoft activation script. Open that, go to the mask folder, and from there, find the separate files version. Inside, you will see Activators folder. Open that up and you will find a README file. Go ahead, open that to check which activation file we need. In this case, we are looking for HWID file, so make a note of that. Now, close the README file and open HWID activation file. You might get a security warning, so just click More Info, then hit Run anyway. And when it asks if you're sure, click Yes. Once you do that, just sit back and relax. The script will run on its own and activate your Windows. You don't need to do anything else while it's working its magic. When it's done, you can double check if your Windows is activated by heading to Settings, then System, and finally About. You should see that your Windows is officially activated. And that's it guys for part 1. You're all set to use your activated Windows. If this helped you out, don't forget to hit the subscribe and click the bell icon so you can stay up to date with Learn TechWise. Thank you for watching and I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye.